Hey everyone, I've tried recording this like 3 times and tried making an intro like 7 times and it's just not working. So, I'm just gonna start with reading this. So, welcome back. I miss you all and I wish I was there today, but I am sick. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow, possibly the next day. But we are starting our rhetoric unit, which will focus on the power of language. So this week, possibly the start of next week, all of our daily activities, Bellworks materials will be in a Welcome to Rhetoric packet. This is going to be due on Friday, possibly Monday if I'm not there tomorrow, and it's going to be worth 60 points in total, which will be uploaded in 3 parts, so 20 points each. This packet is going to give you the opportunity to start the semester off with a strong standing, so these terms will be the focus for the next 6 weeks. So please try your best to participate. Bear with me. I wish I was there, and I'm sorry. Lastly, don't forget about your independent reading packet due at the end of quarter 3. So if you do not have that, you need to let me know. Please let me know, and I will get you a copy. So let's review some of our policies and a couple changes I've made. So if you are absent, look at your daily slides, look at the agenda to know what you have missed. AirPods and phones during notes or class activities are a hard no. If you ever need extra time on something, for any reason, you just need to email me. I am very understanding and I have never, ever, ever said no. And with that being said, I'm going to be a little bit more strict this semester and take off points for late work. When you are submitting work over a day late or after it has been graded, just send me a quick email. I'm still going to grade it. I think it'll be simpler, and sometimes I just don't see things, or since I don't make it a rule that you have to click submit because I grade them on Monday, I just think things will be easier and I won't miss it for some time. Grade makeup for quarter 3. These are not precise point percentages. Again, these are not precise point percentages, but I wanted to give you an idea how these points for quarter 3 will pan out. I'm planning for it to be about 500 points. So this means not completing the independent reading packet will be a letter grade off, and not completing one of the 2 major assessments will result in 2 letter grades off. Those 2 major assessments is the rhetorical analysis and the style portfolio. I just wanted to know, please keep in mind your semester grades will average your quarter 3 and quarter 4 grades, and they're not combined. So a preview for semester 2, Unit 1, Rhetoric, which we're starting today, and I'm really excited for this unit, is our core texts are going to be speeches, personal narratives, assessments, rhetorical analysis, and style portfolio. Unit 2, we're going to read my favorite book in the world, The House on Mango Street, and our assessment's going to be a thematic essay. And lastly, All That Glitters, we're going to read The Great Gatsby, and your assessment will be a group newspaper. This is just, this could change, but this is the plan. You should have already taken your rhetoric pretest. If you haven't done that, click pause and complete that. So we're going to go over all of this again more quickly tomorrow, but I at least wanted to expose you to these terms today. So Aristotle, he was this great philosopher who coined the term rhetoric. Rhetoric is the art of persuasion, and he divided this term into 3 modes: ethos, pathos, and logos. So ethos is appealing to people with ethics. Pathos is convincing people with emotion, and logos is persuading people with logic. So this is called the rhetorical triangle. Sometimes not all 3 are used, or only one method is used. But when you use all 3, that's when you're most effective at persuading. So first up, we have ethos, so the appeal to ethics. So this is when you convince an audience via authority or credibility of the persuader, which could be an expert in a field, someone's experience or a popular celebrity. So phrases like, I've been a doctor for 25 years. If my years as a Marine has taught me anything, it's that caution is the best policy. So they're using their background in their field as their selling point, basically. And celebrity advertisements, that's like the most common one you probably see. So Marilyn Monroe is selling this shampoo in this one because she was well liked. Next, we have pathos. So this is the appeal to emotion. So this is when you convince your audience by making them have an emotional response. So this can be positive or negative. So this can be fear tactics. This can be getting sympathy. This could be, you'll be happy if you do this, or any emotional response. So the biggest one, the arms of an angel. Yeah, that is pathos. So when you see hungry kids or sick dogs or abused dogs, that is making you feel sympathy and want to donate to that charity. So other examples, though, are it's time you take a stand after years of disrespect, so that's kind of like firing them up. Or when you use like your love for your country or religion, that creates an emotional response. And also things like I love you, like those terms just make you get in the feels. So anyway, logos. That's your appeal to logic. So when you persuade the audience with using reasons, facts, and figures. So anytime you see numbers, just know that is logos. So in this graph right here, or image, so it's showing phone coverage. So in this one, you see this compared to this. You're like, oh, obviously I should go with AT&T. Other things like 99% of customers say they were satisfied. In 25 years, I have not witnessed one crime. 1 in 5 people prefer May. Just know numbers and facts. That is logos. Again, we're going to go over this more tomorrow or go through it again, but at least I have this that we're going to fill out. But at least you have like a pretty good idea. So we're going to watch this speech in a second, Nixon's checker speech. But here is the background. So in the 1952 election, Richard Nixon was running for vice president with Dwight D. Eisenhower for the Republican Party. But a month before the election, the New York Post ran this article headlined Secret Rich Men's Trust Fund Keeps Nixon in Style Far Beyond His Salary. So the Post was basically accusing Nixon of misappropriating funds of $18,000, and which was a big sum of money in the 50s. So that's about $200,000 today. And this wasn't exactly illegal, but it was definitely sus in a gray area. So Eisenhower even considered finding a new vice president because it was such a huge blow to his campaign, and election was a month away, and basically everyone was scrambling. So desperate for his career and reputation, Nixon made a super bold move to go on live TV and address the scandal, which was like the first time TV was used for political reasons. So watch the video, and now we're back. So ethos. So again, that's your appeal to credibility, authority. That's when he says, it isn't very much, but Pat and I have the satisfaction that every dime we've got is honestly ours. And I should say this, that Pat doesn't have a mink coat, but she does have a respectable Republican cloth coat. And I tell her she'd look good in anything. So he's trying to appear as this honest, common man, which goes against the idea that he would misappropriate funds for greediness or being money hungry. So by saying like she doesn't have this mink coat, like he's just saying, like, we don't need that. And um, also he says, why do I say I think it is in danger? And I say, look at the record. So he's making it seem like he's the safer option and the right choice because of Truman's history. Then we have pathos. This was the selling point. Our little girl, Trisha, the 6-year-old, named it Checkers, talking about his dog. And, you know, the kids, like all kids, love the dog. And I just want to say this right now, that regardless of what they say about it, we're going to keep it. Okay. This was about misappropriating funds, and you're bringing up dogs and kids. So he's obviously invoking empathy from the audience. So, and then he also invokes fear if they elect Truman and everything that'll go wrong if they do. Yeah, but this was his selling point by using the dog. That's why it's called the Checkers speech. Like, nothing really had to do with this dog. Anyways, so logos. So that's appealing to people with logic, numbers, and stuff like that. So 600 million people have lost to the communists in a war in Korea in which we have lost 117,000 American casualties, and I have to say, all of you, that a policy that results in the loss of 600 million people to the communists in a war that cost us 117,000 American casualties isn't good enough for America. So by providing these concrete facts about Truman's last term, Nixon is convincing the American people that electing him is obviously the logical choice, and using these numbers of all the people who have died. So this is what we call soapstone. Well, you're going to see this about every day for the next, 5 weeks. So, soapstone. So speaker, occasion, audience, purpose, tone. So first of all, speaker. You ask yourself, who's speaking? Well, Richard Nixon at the time was a senator who was running for vice president alongside Dwight D. Eisenhower for the Republican Party. What was the occasion? So you ask yourself, what was the context, time, place, etc. that prompted this speech? The occasion here was during the election, like a month before voting. Allegations surfaced that Nixon took $18,000 from a hidden fund for his benefit. This wasn't technically illegal, but it caused a lot of questions to be raised about his ethical stance, which made his campaign lose support from the Republican Party. Then we have audience. So who was the speech directed to? This was directed to the American voters on TV. And more specifically, he was directing that speech to the Republican Party. Like, that's why he says Republican cloth coat, stuff like that. So then we have purpose. What was the purpose of this speech? The purpose was to gain back the support of the Republican Party and clear up his name that he was corrupt. Nixon's most famous line is, "I'm not a crook." Okay. And then we have, lastly, what was the tone? So what is the attitude of the speaker? His tone was very patriotic, earnest. He sounded humble. So that is our soap's tone. We'll talk about more in why we do this later. But the aftermath of Checkers, okay, this is in history as like one of the top 20 speeches ever given in history because it was so successful. This speech was the reason why him and Eisenhower won with one of the biggest blowouts in history. Later on, Nixon ran for president and won, but he was forced to resign for the Watergate scandal because he was doing some wrong things. So yeah, my time is running out, but I just wanted to expose you to these terms today, and we'll review them again tomorrow. I hope I'm there, and thank you for bearing with me. Bye. Miss you.